In Gange, in the Douala 2 municipality, the living are being chased away for the non-living to settle. Inhabitants of Gange say that the Douala 2 municipality prefer those who have died to those who are still alive in the municipality. We shall be discovering why they are angry to that extent. In the course of this newscast, 3 persons have died and 6 others severely wounded in a road accident in the east region of Cameroon. This edition of the news, ladies and gentlemen, will be taking you on the question of increasing views across Cameroonians on an Anglophone presidency, why there should be the 3rd president of Cameroon who comes from the English-speaking northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. They think that it is the right solution to the armed conflict rocking the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. That will be on the political page of this primetime newscast on Equinoxe television. Thanks for making the right choice to be informed by our #1 television channel, Equinoxe. Investigated stories are only on Equinoxe. Yes, and we start on a very sad page to say that 3 persons have died and 6 others severely wounded in a road accident in Bamako, a village in the east region of Cameroon, a village situated on the national road along the Abombang-Betwa road in the east region. According to local sources, the accident occurred at about 3 a.m. breaking Tuesday, the 2nd of August 2022. It resulted from a heavy-duty vehicle, a lorry transporting cattle from Abombang to the east regional chieftain of Betwa. As you see on your screens, the driver lost control and dashed into the nearby residence, that is a house along the major street, killing persons who were asleep. The whole family got injured in the course of that incident. The family affected saw 3 of their loved ones, the father of the house and 2 other persons killed. The 3 died on the spot, and 6 other family members who were crushed in the course of the unfortunate accident got severely wounded, have been rushed to the hospital in Betwa in the east region of Cameroon. As you can see on your screens, the house along the road in Bamako village completely destroyed by the vehicle, a rather unfortunate incident that got villagers heavily in shock. It blocked circulation of that part of the stretch for several hours. And another road accident, this time around in Banga, in the Mungo division of the littoral region of Cameroon. The accident in Banga, however, left no one dead, but the persons involved got severely wounded, and the severe cases were rushed to the hospital. According to local sources, the accident occurred at Carrefour Banga. Bus which was leaving a filling station got crushed by an oncoming bus from the west region of Cameroon, and the accident left several persons wounded. Nobody died in the course of the incident. We shall be coming back to it subsequently. But these repeated road accidents across Cameroon have been blamed largely on the poor state of stretches, be it the national road and secondary stretches, as well as roads in towns and cities in Cameroon. Most persons think that the nature of our roads in Cameroon contribute a greater percentage to the rates of accidents, though human causes too cannot be underestimated. But many are asking key officials charged with constructing and maintaining roads to do their work. In a Dia 1 subdivision of the Senegal Maritime Division, that's the littoral region of Cameroon, the people say the very bad state of the road in that area is not only causing accidents, but is also making economic activities hideous, difficult, and to an extent paralyzed. We have details with Mala Glory in the following report.
Slippery and muddy state of road, difficult to walk or drive over, poor drainage or blocked with waste material preventing the flow of water. This is the state of road linking several localities in Edea 1, a littoral region of Cameroon. The inhabitants of this locality complain that the poor state of road is their greatest challenge. I have seen people falling on this road. Just look at the road. There are no runoffs. It is really bad. I think Edea 1 Council should be allowed to manage its funds. The numerous potholes does not only expose its road users to accidents, but vehicles experience frequent damages. The town of Edea has very deplorable roads. Our cars suffer the consequences every day. Some of us with small vehicles really endures a lot. The inhabitants accuses the local authorities for neglecting the construction of this road, which would contribute to the development of the community. They call on the government to provide enough funds for the construction of roads in that locality.
The nature of the road in Edea 1 subdivision to an extent goes to show just what stands in most parts of Cameroon, and the people think that officials are not doing enough as far as maintaining roads or constructing roads in different parts of the country are concerned. But it is not the problem with inhabitants of Ngange, a neighborhood in the Douala 1 municipality, rather the Douala 2 municipality. The people are accusing the council of loving people who have died more than those who are still alive. They say that the council is in a project to oust people from its space to keep it for dead people. We have details with Lucy Esie Liengu in the following reports.
House of Ngange in the Douala 2 subdivision expressed their worries as the Douala 2 Council starts the project of building a fence around the new bird graveyard. The problem we have is that the council has decided to fence the new bird graveyard. They told us that our houses too will be destroyed in order to build the fence. But the gutter you see is a natural boundary that has been existing since 1959, which distincts us from the graveyard. The council started this work without even informing us or giving us a notice before. We are being taken as part of the graveyard land, but we are not. Our quarter in Ngange. Generally on the paper, they didn't even ask of those who are part of New Bell. The truth is we are not part of the graveyard. They say they are not part of New Bell and they have given complaints to the council, the divisional officer and the senior divisional officer on their concerns. We hope that what we have sent as documents to the senior divisional officer, the DO and the council will be taken into consideration and they will get back to us on time. Talking to the technical director at the Douala 2 Council, the construction of the fence has been part of the 2022 budget.
Mais en réalité, protéger ce qui reste encore de ce métier de Nobel.
Our aim is to protect the remains of what is left in New Bell. What is left today is just 30% of what we usually have as New Bell graveyard. That's why the council decided to build this fence. Despite these reasons, for technical purposes, some houses will be affected by this project.
De ce qu'on pouvait représenter comme impact social.
According to the population, the government is trying to prioritize the dead instead of the living if they are being sent away.
Lucy Esie Liengu in that report, and you should understand that the situation is even worsening with the coming of the rains. The people ask where the council want them to go at a time where they are being threatened by a project that seems to prioritize a cemetery to those living in the Ngange neighborhoods. But that is not the problem that comes with the rainy season in Douala or elsewhere across Cameroon. Health experts also say that the rainy season comes with some health hazards outlined in the following report by Lucy Esie Liengu.
As the rainy season intensifies, inhabitants of Douala, like elsewhere, are increasingly facing the hazards that accompanies the season. Some of these diseases include cold, cough, respiratory infections. According to medical practitioners, rhinitis is very common throughout the season. Rhinitis is inflammation and swelling of the mucous membrane of the nose, characterized by runny nose. It is usually caused by viral infection, irritation in the air, and many others. The pneumologist says patients or people with chronic bronchitis tend to get lung infections more easily. Thus, the signs can be more visible when there is cold. They advise that persons who are exposed to this should keep warm, wash their hands frequently, wash their bed lines and pillowcases with warm water. Medics also add that the rainy season is a period wherein we have more stagnant water and swamps hosting mosquitoes that increases the spread of malaria. Apart from respiratory or lungs-related diseases, health experts say the rainy season also favors the prevalence of diseases like cholera and typhoid.
Another health challenge is that of failing to give breast milk as required by health officials to our children. On the World Breastfeeding Day, lactating mothers have been advised on just what to do in order to keep their babies strong. We have details with our health lady, Malak Glory.
According to the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, less than half of all newborn babies around the world are exclusively breastfed during the first 5 months of their lives. Despite the numerous health benefits of breastfeeding, some women decide not to breastfeed because they had to return to work or school, physical discomfort and health concerns. Visiting the maternity unit of the Douala Lakintini Hospital, lactating mothers say they have opted for exclusive breast milk for their kids.
My name is Azengwa Suruk Lawrence. I put to bed on Friday a baby boy. The breast milk is very, very important because it makes the baby to grow very strong. And I've decided to give my breast milk to the child up to 6 months before I can introduce another food for the child.
While commemorating World Breastfeeding Day, Dr. Happy Fusi enumerates the importance of breast milk during the first 6 months. Breast milk is packed with essential nutrients like proteins, vitamins, minerals, and antibodies uniquely adapted for the baby. It helps to keep the baby hydrated, manages body temperature, and protects the baby. Knowing what posture to take while breastfeeding a baby is another important aspect. Use 4 of your fingers to hold the head of the child. Then use your thumb to press the breast. The other hand you use it to hold him close to you. According to health experts, as pregnancy comes to term, a woman's body begins to produce breast milk called colostrum, popularly called liquid gold, because of its color and benefits. World Breastfeeding Week is celebrated from the 1st to the 7th of August every year. The commemoration highlights the importance of breastfeeding in tackling malnutrition.
Breast milk, food for children, necessary for their growth and health. But in the wake of rising food crisis for you and I across the globe, institutions like the World Bank and others are advising economies or nations to take key measures necessary to ensure food security, especially in low and middle income earning countries. In this situation, Annabella in the following report tells us just how those measures are being outlined at the level of the World Bank and related institutions, and just what is expected of concerned nations or economies to do in order to keep their citizens safe from the rising and threatening world food crisis, her report.
Officials of World Bank revealed that as at July 29, 2022, domestic food price inflation remains high across the world, especially in low and middle income countries. The officials say the war in Ukraine and COVID-19 have altered global patterns of trade, production and consumption of basic commodities. Food prices were already high and the war is driving it higher. Commodities that have been most affected are wheat, maize, edible oils and fertilizers. Heads of the World Bank Group, the IMF, the United Nations Food Programme and the World Trade Organization had earlier this year released a joint statement calling on the international community for urgent action to be taken to address food security, keep trade open and support vulnerable countries with urgent finances. And as at July 15, 18 countries have implemented food export bans, while global hunger levels have remained alarmingly high. The number of people affected by hunger rose to 828 million in 2021. The World Food Programme and the Food and Agriculture Organization warned that acute food insecurity could worsen by September 2022. Millions in the world would run short of food. And in the upcoming months, a major challenge will be access to fertilizers, which may impact food production more. Russia and Belarus are major fertilizer exporters, accounting for 38% of potassic fertilizers, compound and 15% of nitrogenous fertilizers. The World Bank Group enjoins economies to make use of fertilizers so as to boost food production and ensure food security in the years ahead.
And inhabitants of Waza in the Logona and Shari division of the far north region of Cameroon also say that they are suffering and are being hard hit by the food crisis. They, however, think that the causes of the food crisis is not what is witnessed across the globe as outlined by Annabella, that the World Bank thinks it is provoked by the war in Ukraine and the coronavirus pandemic. Those of Waza in the Logona and Shari are pointing fingers at the activities of the terrorist group Boko Haram. Boko Haram came in with enormous suffering. They are, however, being attended to by the United Nations Development Program in order to see people back to deserted areas of the Waza area and the far north region of Cameroon. Innocent as it takes us to what they call the suffering of the people of Waza.
These inhabitants of Waza in the far north region say the miserable life they live today is as a result of insecurity, masterminded by Boko Haram insurgents. She says since 2014, they have not been able to work for livelihood because of Boko Haram frequent attacks. No one has been spared. The youth, who make up 75% of the population, suffer the most since they are jobless. If you make a tour in Waza, you will find youths roaming about in the streets. They are jobless and battle for survival on a daily basis. Another thing that has affected their standard of living is the fact that tourists stopped visiting the Waza National Park because of insecurity. Before, tourists were coming here in their numbers. They gave us gifts which put a smile on the faces of youths. Everything was going on well. The economy was booming because once you saw whites or tourists, you saw money. Unfortunately, since the upsurge of Boko Haram hostilities, tourists stopped coming here, making life difficult for us. In a bid to help these victims of repeated Boko Haram hostilities, the United Nations Development Program gave them equipment to bounce into agriculture, trucks and other items to enable them better their living conditions.
Et dans cette deuxième phase, nous allons bien sûr
that they also in turn helping other communities affected like Waza with a courageous population who, despite the odds, are still brave.
Très courageuse, qui mérite d'être aidée.
The gesture, he asks, will help the population of Waza return to normal life and the locality itself stabilized.
De reprendre une vie normale.
Local authorities are confident in 3 months' time, this aid will change the lifestyle of the Waza people.
Vraiment, quand vous venez ici à Waza,
Expectation of these Waza inhabitants is to see government authorities also take such a great move to get them out of this misery.
And in sports, Team Cameroon is still running after its first medal at the ongoing Commonwealth of Nations Games in Birmingham, England. Team Cameroon missed out on 2 medals as the games enters the 5th this Tuesday. Smart Jigangebe, the sportsman, has the rest of the story.
Chances of picking a medal at the Commonwealth Games have been dashed again. Even though they were close at getting their first medal, Gael Eyengambosi, who was a medal hopeful before engaging in the women's 76-kilogram weightlifting competition, finished fifth on the general classification table, totaling 212 points, which pushed her completely out of any medal ceremony in weightlifting. At the judo court, it started with good news for Team Cameroon in Birmingham as Audrey Etoile-Biok won her first encounter, which qualified her to the semi-finals in the minus 63-kilogram category. Unfortunately, she lost at the semi-finals and will now have to battle to get the bronze medal. On Monday, Cameroon lost bronze in the finals of judo through Baba Matia Marie Celine in the women's minus 52-kilogram category, while Nsala Bernardine was eliminated at the 8th finals. In swimming, Nora Minenesi got a new record of 28.53 seconds in the 50-meter butterfly swimming competition to come out fit, but unfortunately couldn't qualify, while Maxime Yengnong in the plus 92-kilogram heavyweight boxing lost to India's Saga as he got out of the ring after the first fight.
And it is important to note that Team Cameroon had some of its members in action as the games headed to day 5. They were taking part in athletics, judo, swimming, and weightlifting. Their results will be yours subsequently or in subsequent editions of information on Equinoxe Television. We told you that in the course of this newscast, we shall be raising the increasing views for an Anglophone presidency, that is, for an Anglophone to become the 3rd president of the Republic of Cameroon. The calls have been increasing, and today, for Talking Point, we got interest in finding out from our Cameroonian opinion leader, a lecturer in the university, a senior lecturer, what he thinks of these green views of an Anglophone presidency. But we also went further to ask him just how possible that could be in a French-speaking dominated Republic of Cameroon, and also to an extent his analysis on what has been qualified as the first major field assignment of General Buba, commander of the 5th Joint Military Region based in Bamenda in the northwest region of Cameroon. It came out of what was reported over the weekend as a security or a military crackdown on separatist camps in several parts of the Mezam, the Bui, and the Ngokitunja, as well as the Momo, all in the northwest region of Cameroon. Coming up is Talking Point. It's going to be a special kind of talking point today. I asked a question to him directly, and he will be responding in not more than 5 minutes. From Yaoundé, Cameroon, Dr. Cho Walters is a lecturer in the University of Yaoundé. He's a senior lecturer in the University of Yaoundé, a lecturer of economics. Dr. Cho Walters, thanks for accepting to talk to us on Talking Points. We asked you 3 questions. Your views on these green opinions of an Anglophone presidency in Cameroon, and also how it's possible in a French-speaking dominated Cameroon, and lastly, your analysis of the first assignment of the newly installed commander of the 5th Combat Military Region based in Bamenda in the northwest region of Cameroon, Dr. Joe Walters.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Will Anglophone president solve the crisis in Norfolk?
After the declaration of Barrister Gobala that the Anglophone president can solve the Anglophone crisis, I think that I totally disagree, because the Fumban Conference of 1961 resolution were not applied, and President Paul Biya, who carried out the resolutions, became the president of Cameroon after the modification of Constitution of 1989, where Solomon Tande Mona was the president of National House of Assembly, who was to become the president of Cameroon as an Anglophone. And Ahidjo modified that Constitution in 1989 to make Biya president. So it is too late for us now to talk about an Anglophone president in Cameroon to solve the Anglophone crisis. We should rather move on to ceasefire, free all the prisoners who are detained in connection to the Anglophone crisis in all the 10 regions in Cameroon, call for amnesty and introduce or initiate an inclusive dialogue and negotiation. But an Anglophone president will not solve the Anglophone crisis because it is too late. I am working on the field.
How can that be possible in a French-dominated country?
It is not possible in a French-dominated country because Anglophones made up of 20% and Francophones 80%. So even if on the condition that an Anglophone will become the next president in Cameroon through election, through the ballot box, I doubt it's more than 99% that it is impossible because the elections are always going on in favor of the Francophones that are the majority. So it is an impossibility for an Anglophone to become the next president of Cameroon through election.
Who can be the president?
That question is a vague question because for now, all the elites of the Northwest and the Southwest that have been working with the government since 1961 right up to 2022, majority of them have been discredited. They are not credited in the Northwest and the Southwest to stand as those to defend the Anglophone struggle. So for now, credibility is doubtful of the elites who are closer to President Paul Biya and who are ministers who can carry forward the Anglophone problem to Parliament or to the Senate or to the presidency. So because of that credibility, I see no Anglophone who can stand to be as the next president of Cameroon because it is first of all impossible for an Anglophone to be president in Cameroon, and it is first of all impossible for Anglophone presidents to solve the Anglophone crisis.
How do you analyze the military rep in Bamenda after the appointment of General Buba Dobekeo?
Yes, I learned of the appointment of General Dobekeo Buba in the 5th military region in Bamenda. My analysis is that I have published a lot of articles online about generals who are killed and generals who are still alive in the Northwest and the Southwest. Upon the list that Dobekeo Buba, general in the Northwest region, have presented to the Cameroon government that he has killed a lot of generals, to me, it's a fallacy of composition because 11 Amber boys that were killed in Batibo after 3 days of military raids in Batibo were the ADF, the Ambazonian Defense Force of Ayabacho's Amber boys, who are denounced to have been sponsored by La République du Cameroun. And so ADF is part of La République. An example is when Senator Regina Munji was released. There were ongoing polemics that an amount was given to the family by ADF that negotiated with Cameroon Army. So it proves that the 11 Amber boys that were killed in Batibo are not generals of those Ambazonian forces, but they were generals of the Ambazonian Defense Force of Ayabacho, who is working with the intelligence service of the La République du Cameroun. It is just polemics that is ongoing.
And his reactions on key issues has you got him there. He thinks that the Anglophone elites from the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon who've been working with the government since 1961 and finally to the unitary system all this throughout this period and within the Republic of Cameroon have not been credible. They do not have credibility back home, and none of them can become president in Cameroon. At least a third Anglophone president in Cameroon or a third president and Anglophone in Cameroon, to him is an impossibility. Ladies and gentlemen, that's where we end this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinoxe Television. We thank you for your keen attention. Stay in the company of interesting programs. 8 p.m. a full newscast will come live from Douala in the French language. Equinoxe continues from Yaoundé shortly after this.